Teen Beach Movie is a Disney Channel original movie. It's directed by Jeffrey Hornaday, I hope I'm saying that right, and stars Ross Lynch and Maia Mitchell as Brady and Mack, respectively. And much like my Descendants video, I'm going to do a really long breakdown of these films because I quite enjoy them. So buckle in. Starting on the production of the films, the script was written by Vince Marcello, Mark Landry, and Robert Horn, from a story by Marcello and Landry. Pre-production of the film began in January of 2012, being filmed in Puerto Rico. On March 28, 2012, Puerto Rican press reported on the filming, which took place on the island. Most beach scenes took place in the Fajardo on the east coast of the island, including the beach house of the governor of Puerto Rico, while indoor scenes such as Mackenzie's bedroom, a restaurant, and a kitchen were filmed inside an undisclosed warehouse in Bayamon. Mariela Perez Sereno, who was executive director of the Puerto Rican Film Corporation at the time, said Disney had spent $8 million to film the production in Puerto Rico. And that was when the film was titled Teen Beach Musical at the time. Quick note, I'm very glad they did change the title from Teen Beach Musical to Teen Beach Movie. It just doesn't hit the same, and it really feels like they were just trying to capitalize on the success of High School Musical by attaching it to that musical brand in a way. Maybe if they had gone this direction, they would have done like whole like cinematic universes of like blank musical, and I don't like that. We have enough cinematic universes as it is. We don't need more with decoms. Although I think they're interconnected already. There probably is some sort of line, you know, they have crossovers and stuff, so they probably are already connected. I might do some research in that and do a video. There's probably one already on YouTube. I'm rambling. So on to marketing. To promote the movie, 7-foot Teen Beach Movie branded beach balls were dropped at a One Direction and R5 concert across the country. And I didn't know about this until now, but if I had known in 2013, I probably would have died. Teen Beach Movie and One Direction all my whole life at that point in time. I mean, I was 7 and gay. Just didn't realise it yet. They also did brand deals with Honda and Best Western because there's one thing kids love, it's shitty cars and shitty hotels. There was also a 10-city Teen Beach Movie Party event tour, which is just insane. The High School Musical Disney Channel Rocks dance show in Hollywood Studios were moved to Typhoon Lagoon at Walt Disney World Resort and rethemed into Teen Beach Movie Dance Party, which ran from January 24th, 2013 to September 1st, 2013. Not a bad run, considering this was just for promotion for a film. One Direction also filmed promotional videos for the movie to tie in with Radio Disney's Sizzle in Summer concert series sweepstakes, where they previewed their song Best Song Ever, which is a banger. I just remember it for being on that One Direction movie, like the music video being a special feature. I'm really doing myself no favours in telling you all this. So, on to the broadcast of the film. The film originally premiered after a new episode of Austin and Ally on July 19th, 2013 in the United States, Canada, and the UK and Ireland on Disney Channel, which made sense. I mean, both pieces of programming starred Ross Lynch, who was a big deal on Disney at the time, basically male Hannah Montana, and I mean, they were both music-centric things. Austin and Ally is a banger, by the way. Again, probably going to do a video on that at some point. A lot of Disney stuff. Like, you can see a lot of that content in the future, I bet. But yeah, it made sense to premiere it then. It premiered on August 4th, 2013 in Southeast Asia and August 9th, 2013 in Australia and New Zealand. Both of those being on Disney Channel, obviously. It was broadcast in both 4:3 and 16:9 because at the time it was pretty evenly split with households, you know, having both aspect ratios. So Disney multicasted versions of the film. Here's some examples of what both versions of the film would have looked like for you if you're curious. I mean, I know I am. I was lucky enough to have a widescreen TV at the time, so, you know, I saw it as it was to be intended, but that doesn't discredit this 4:3 version. It does look cool. It is a part of history and interesting to look at. But anyway, enough rambling. Let's get on to the film.
Brady, played by Ross Lynch, and Mack, played by Maia Mitchell, are surfing near her grandfather's beach hut in Waikiki. Am I saying that right? I'm going to be so real, I just assumed this was set in Hawaii. Anyway, they're doing this to the first song of the movie, entitled Oxygen, which is a solid opener. It doesn't feel like a decom movie song, which is good because it means I could play it on the aux without looking like a total fag. Mack then walks in on her grandfather and Brady watching their favourite film, a 1960s musical titled West Side Story, where surfers and motorcycle bikers battle for the privilege to hang out at Big Mama's beachside restaurant. Yes, it is a very obvious parody of West Side Story, but I'd still put it in my Letterboxd top 4 if it was real. When Mack's aunt comes by, she explains to Brady that before her mother died, Mack's aunt promised Mack's mum that Mack would attend a private school and she is leaving the next day. Mack asserts that although going is not her choice, she feels it is what she must do since it is what her mother would want. She tells Brady that they will have to break up. It's here we get our first theme of Teen Beach Movie, being true to yourself. I feel so gay for saying that, but this is what I get for covering a kids' movie, themed for toddlers. Before Mack leaves, she decides to surf a 40-foot wave that is about to hit the beach on her family's special surfboard. Alarmed, Brady gets on a jet ski and goes after Mack because he doesn't believe in her ability or something. He is right to be worried as they get swept away, eventually landing on another beach. They soon realize that they have somehow been swept inside the Wet Side Story film. Seizing the moment, Brady joins in the cast in singing, to Mack's dismay, belts out our next song, Surf Crazy, which is an absolute iconic piece of music for Disney cards. Brady relents and informs Mack that there will be a storm and a giant wave that should bring them back home at the end of the film. Don't ask why storms somehow link into this musical and real world. They really don't explain it in either movie. They go into Big Mamas and introduce themselves to the surfers just before the bikers appear and start the surf and turf war with the song Cruising for a Bruising. Another belter. They really stacked this one with bangers back to back, and I ate it up at the ripe age of 7 and still do a decade on. I knew all the words and sadly still do. This is why I won't ever find love. But that's alright, because who needs the touch of a woman when I have shitty decoms? Mack and Brady then are invited to come to a party at Big Mama's later that night. That evening, Mack and Brady are arguing while the film's female lead, Lela, one of the biker girls, is singing Fallin' For Ya on stage. I keep saying it, but fucking banger. Tanner, the male lead, one of the surfer boys, is supposed to catch Lela as Lela falls, but Tanner falls in love with Mack after she bumps into him. This interferes with the film's plot. Brady and Mack concoct to make Tanner and Lela fall in love with each other to fix things. Brady also tells Mack about the villain of the film, that being Les Camembert and Dr. Fusion, who are going to use a machine to affect the weather to make the surfers and bikers leave so they can control Big Mamas and turn it into a beach resort. Dr. Fusion is played by Kevin Chamberlain, who wasn't new to Disney, having played Bertram for multiple years in the Disney Channel show Jessie, another banger of a show. I don't care what you guys say. Disney Channel blew Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network out the fucking water in its heyday, which is a rant I'm going to go on in another video because I have a lot to say. I mean, yes, Nickelodeon was better for cartoons, but if you wanted live action stuff, Disney trumped Henry Danger and all that shit, especially nowadays compared to what they have with like that live action Loud House shite. Lela and Tanner expressed their love for Brady and Mack, who subtly suggested to them that there may be someone else they are really meant to be with in the song Meant to Be, which is another sick song. I'm going to stop commenting on the songs now just because I'm saying the same shit. That night, Mack joins Lela and the other biker girls for a sleepover, while Brady hangs out with Tanner and the surfer boys at Big Mama's while talking about love. Brady and Mack's modern relationship views come into conflict with those of the 1960s in the song Like Me. They fail to make any progress on getting Lela and Tanner together. The next night, Lela tells Mack she would like to surf, which furthers that core theme of being yourself despite what society says. She wants to surf despite being a biker. Mack and Brady realize that they are morphing into the film when Mack falls into the water and her hair does not get wet. Then they begin to spontaneously sing and are unable to stop in the song Can't Stop Singing. They are then captured by Les Camembert and Dr. Fusion and taken to the villain's lighthouse lair. Lela and Tanner fall in love with each other when Mack and Brady get them together without their presence to distract each party. Lela and Tanner soon realize that their friends have been kidnapped. They convince the bikers and surfers to team up to save Mack and Brady. Meanwhile, Mack admits she is glad she ended up in the film and doesn't have to attend private school. When Mack says she thinks Lela is braver than her, Brady denies it, saying that Mack is the bravest girl he knows. The surfers and bikers free Mack and destroy the villain's machine. The film's plot returns to normal, and Mack and Brady realize they are able to return home. After saying goodbye to everyone, Mack and Brady are on the surfboard again and return to the real world, when no time has passed since they left. Again, don't question it, it's decom rules, they make no sense, they make it up as they go along, and that's part of the charm if you ask me. Mack successfully surfs the 40-foot wave. Mack's aunt is upset about her delaying their flight, but accepts the decision to spend the rest of the year with Brady. Mack and Brady celebrate by singing a reprise of Surf Crazy on the beach. In a post-credit scene, Lela, Tanner, Butchie, Seacat, Struts, and Giggles, terrible names by the way, they all make me cringe to say, like, that is a hard line. I had to struggle through it a few times. Anyway, they wash up into the real world. A modern-day surfer thinks they are lost and allows them to use his cell phone, which they marvel at as they attempt to use it.
So that's Teen Beach Movie, but what do I actually think of it? Well, time for my review. And it's a belter. It's great, honestly. I'm sorry to glaze it, but it is. It's one of my all-time favourite decoms and one of the best. And it parodies 60s musicals really well. I love it. They stacked it with amazing songs, and it makes perfect sense to me that it would get a sequel because it was well received. And yeah, it did. But before we get to that, Teen Beach Movie had a post-broadcast. There's some figures we need to get over. Let's do it. So, Teen Beach Movie was released on DVD on July 16th, 2013, and according to the numbers, the domestic DVD sales were around 12,505,311, and I have owned 2 copies of this film in my life, so Disney can thank me for 12 of those dollars. You're welcome. There's not really much else I can add about this film when talking about the post-broadcast, to be honest. There just isn't much to know about decoms and that sort of thing, in how much they make, because they're TV movies. It becomes a bit of a grey area. So, let's move on to Teen Beach 2. Teen Beach 2 was announced and slated to premiere in 2015 on Disney Channel on April 27, 2014. Production was set for July 2014 in Puerto Rico, just like the first film. All the original cast, including the characters who were like in West Side Story, were set to return. No replacements, so that's good. The film was set around the characters from West Side Story after the first film's post-credits scene when they were transported into the real world, which is good. They were, keeping with the story and, what they had set up, which I like. Consistency is key. Teen Beach 2 was the first Disney Channel original movie sequel since Camp Rock 2, The Final Jam in 2010. Inferior sequel. The Disney official site for the movie stated it will be released summer 2015 as Teen Beach 2. And before we move on to marketing, I never did understand why they opted to call this one Teen Beach 2 instead of Teen Beach Movie 2. But I often flip-flop on whether I think it's a better choice or not. You tell me down below what you think. And while you're there, why not subscribe and like? It really helps. I would like to make this my job because I'm suffering from unemployment. Thanks. So, Teen Beach 2's marketing. There really wasn't much marketing for this second film, just relying on TV trailers, because people already knew this sequel was coming and were hyped for it, including a 9-year-old me. So honestly, promotion really wasn't needed, because it was already an established franchise. Here's a trailer for Teen Beach 2.
They're rolling.
Teen Beach 2. We're going back to the beach.
Teen Beach 2's coming this summer. The gang is back.
Good to see you.
Everybody's back together.
We wanted to up the ante.
Newer, crazier, bigger stuff. Crazy dance numbers. I'm in it.
And groovier than ever.
So sassy and it's so upbeat.
The singing.
It's gonna get loud. I sing really loud.
The dancing.
And then you're listening to the song more so you can learn the dance. Then when you're dancing, you want to sing the song more.
The sets.
We're definitely stepping it up and everything's a lot bigger and more extravagant.
The surf.
Cowabunga.
Mark your calendars.
It's gonna be amazing.
Disney Channel's original movie, Teen Beach 2, is coming this summer.
Is my hair okay?
Your hair's fine. She's excited.
It premiered on June 26, 2015. It's 1 hour, 45 minutes long. And now, onto the film itself.
On the eve of the first day of school, Brady and Mack celebrate the day they met and reminisce about the summer while they watch Brady's favourite movie, West Side Story, the 1960s musical film they got stuck in. This serves to expand the universe, giving us more glimpses of West Side Story, so that's cool. That's something that, stands out. Mack dismisses Brady's fear that their relationship will change when they begin school. Mack then notices she's lost the necklace she received while in West Side Story's world. That happened at the end of the first film. I didn't really mention it because it wasn't, relevant, but it is now, so just pretend. At school, Brady and Mack reunite with their respective friends, Devon and Alyssa, who are surprised by their new relationship due to their opposite personalities. Later in class, Brady is working on surfboard designs, but hides them when Mack asks him what he is doing. Mack begins work on a Save the Beach dance despite Brady's attempts to see her. Struggling with a college application, Brady works on a surfboard instead, and accidentally forgets about the college fair that he was going to attend, with Mack upsetting her to the point that they do break up. He can't catch a win here. He's literally me. Although this does serve to give us a great song, On My Own by Ross Lynch. Really good. I enjoy that one. And it's good enough where I can listen to it outside of decom realm, Oxygen in the first film, so I don't look like a retard when I play it on the aux, as I said with Oxygen, which is nice. I much prefer when these songs feel organic and like they could be played on the radio than just being in a film. But of course, with decoms there has to be an element of the film and the music serving each other, but it's nice to see those occasional outliers. In the West Side Story world, Lela and Tanner suddenly break with the film's plot, having experienced changes within themselves since Mack and Brady's visit. They're just depressed. It's really weird to see for a kids' film, but they are. Then they notice Mack's washed-up necklace and journey into the ocean, eventually winding up in the same world as Mack and Brady, who are still not on good terms. Again, don't question the logic, decom rules. With Lela and Tanner marveling at the wonders of the modern world, Mack and Brady choose to show them that the world is not as great as it seems in hopes they will return to their own world. Shouldn't be too difficult, honestly, which is actually kind of sad when I say it. Meanwhile, the characters of Wet Side Story are left confused without Lela and Tanner, with Chi-Chi and Seacat attempting but failing to substitute for the starring duo. Don't care though, because when they sing this version of Fallin' For Ya, it bangs. It bangs hard. Brady and Mack bring Lela and Tanner to school, where their movie characteristics come out against Mack and Brady's cautions. Lela becomes too enthralled with math homework to spend time with Tanner after school, and Tanner confesses to Brady that he worries he is not enough for Lela, while Brady reveals to Tanner that he and Mack are taking a break. Interjecting here, these guys should be getting brutally bullied, or at least they would here over in Britain. Americans are a bit tapped and would probably enjoy seeing these characters sing and dance as if they're in a musical, but in Britain, yeah, they probably have been stabbed. Brady also shows Tanner his surfboards and alludes that Mack might not understand his newfound hobby. Realizing that Lela and Tanner are becoming part of the modern world, much like Mack and Brady in, the first film, they attempt to convince them that they are just characters from a film, showing them clips from Wet Side Story. And I'm going to be honest, I do like this subversion. This film is like taking the original and flipping it on its head, which is good, It's something new. This could have been a very standard sequel where they just went back into the film and, did shenanigans. But they took some time to work with the story and give something that makes sense in the established rules of the world. So that's peak. But anyway, obviously, Lela and Tanner are upset by the fact that they are in a film. Lela throws the necklace into the ocean, prompting Mack and Brady to search for it. Meanwhile, back in the Wet Side Story world, characters begin disappearing. Butchie notices the washed-up necklace, which he used to lead the gang into the modern world, where they inform Lela, Tanner, Brady, and Mack about the disappearing characters. Brady and Mack realize that without the main actors, the world would literally cease to exist, and so the film characters have to return to their world. Brady and Mack avoid each other during the Save the Beach dance, but are greeted by characters of Wet Side Story who decide to return to get them to reconcile. When Butchie disappears with the necklace, Brady and Mack run to get Mack's grandfather's surfboard, which they first used to get into the Wet Side Story universe. With no waves, Brady decides to use a motorized surfboard he created, along with the emblem from Mack's grandfather's surfboard. Mack compares Brady's hobby to her grandfather's surfboard passion, and they agree not to keep secrets from each other. Before Tanner and Lela leave, Mack tells Lela to make this movie her story. Brady fixes a surfboard malfunction because we need needless drama because it's a dcom, and obviously they need to stretch these things 15 minutes longer than they should be, which was obviously something I had a critique about Descendants, but the original film didn't have this, which I don't understand. I think Descendants came out after Teen Beach Movie, so I'm not going to lie, I think Descendants started that first trend of making these films run longer than they really should, which I don't like, obviously. Boo. So that's one critique for Descendants that I didn't mention in that video because I just didn't realize. The more you know, retrospect adds things. Anyway, Lela and Tanner are able to depart. When Brady emerges from the ocean, he and Mack appear not to know each other. They later meet at the Save the Beach dance, which Mack says is themed to her favourite movie, Lela, Queen of the Beach. It is revealed that Lela had followed Mack's advice and changed the movie, giving it more feminine tones and unintentionally erasing Brady and Mack's history together, since the two originally met by Brady showing Mack Wet Side Story, which the film no longer is. Utter woke nonsense, mate. Not in my decoms. Despite this, Mack and Brady flirt and fall in love again, restoring their relationship.
So that was Teen Beach 2. What did I think? Well, my review is that Teen Beach 2 is a relatively mid follow-up with a pretty shit soundtrack, all things considered. I like the reprise of Fallin' For Ya and the new style of it. And Ross Lynch's On My Own is pretty good. It's consistent with the original film, though. Even the plot that they nabbed from the post-credit scene is, consistent from the original film. And it does something stylistically cool in, taking the plot of the original and subverting it into something interesting. I can respect that. And I'm glad that we didn't get, some sort of rushed thing just for the sake of capitalizing. Definitely a much better franchise than Descendants when I covered that. But then again, it only had 2 films. I'm glad we didn't get the third, to be honest, because I feel like that maybe would have patted it out. It would have been a bit of a sour note to end on. And also, that didn't seem like there's much else they could do with this franchise past the first 2. But that doesn't matter, because now we have to talk about post-broadcast for Teen Beach 2. The movie received mixed reviews from critics. Brian Lowry of Variety wrote that while the songs were generally great and the storyline was easy to understand, everything else is really just the storytelling equivalent of pulling taffy, trying to create enough impedance to keep the narrative clunking along until the next spontaneous outbreak of song. Thankfully, there's a great deal of talent on the screen, though the words generally sound far better when sung than spoken. R. Thomas Umstead of Multi-Channel News awarded the movie 3.5 stars out of 5, And he wrote, much like Teen Beach Movie, the sequel is full of impressive dance numbers, often silly dialogue, and toe-tapping pop music songs that will certainly appeal to the network's target of 6 to 11-year-old audiences. Still, Teen Beach 2 lacks a bit of charm exhibited in the first movie, even though that will not matter much to fans of the original, which I honestly disagree with. Even as an excited child for this film, I was kind of let down. It was one of the few films as a kid that I watched where I wasn't, just mindlessly eating it up, and I actually sat there and went, it's kind of shit. But still, despite poor critical reception, the film still drew 5.8 total million viewers on its premiere night, becoming the most watched dcom since its prequel Teen Beach Movie aired in 2013. In L+3, Teen totals 12.3 million viewers. Doesn't matter though, because I'm pretty sure Descendants beat it immediately. Watch my Descendants video, by the way. Chances are, if you enjoyed this one, you're going to like that one. It's very much in the same vein. So, to conclude this video, if you ask me, Teen Beach Movie is often forgotten in the list of Disney franchises, and that is disappointing, because I personally believe it to be a pretty amazing satirization of that 60s Teen Beach Movie style that we saw a lot when those films were first coming out. Granted, I wasn't there, but I've seen a few of them, and I know it satirizes it well. It works well as that spoof, and has some catchy tunes. It's greatly aided, the type of films that I like, and I can respect it for that. If it weren't for this film series, I probably wouldn't be all that into musicals, and I honestly have no clue how to conclude this thing, other than saying that I really enjoy Teen Beach Movie. I mean, I bought a lot of merch in the time I was writing this video, because I just wanted to support the thing and have something to show how much I enjoy it, Both the movies, God, this is going to be really sad. Both the soundtracks, both the terrible novelizations. I just wanted to show how much I enjoy this thing. And honestly, I have not much else to say other than if you haven't seen this series, you need to go out and watch it, because it is something to respect and marvel at, even like a decade on from the sequel. And it wasn't taken too well when they first came out, hence why it didn't do anywhere near as much as Descendants, but still worth your time if you ask me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you later. Goodbye.